Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, Geminis, here we go. So let's go ahead and take a look at Geminis at who is Gemini's best match right now. Now, I'm looking more for qualities. When we see zodiacs, we'll mention them also, but I'm not trying to do just a standard, you know, you can look it up. We can say what, zodiacs would be most compatible after off of astrological signs, but I'm not looking to just repeat information that's already well known by astrologers. I'm looking for a story here. So that's why I'm doing it in a totally different way because I got to bring something fresh to the table, right? So in this message, who might be the best match for Gemini given where Gemini is right now? We have a King of Pentacles, somebody stable, somebody who could be Earth sign, possibly Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, but somebody that would be willing to uproot and move to be with Gemini. Also, could be somebody that would be willing to travel, go on the road. Maybe Gemini dreams of stability with flexibility. But we definitely see, I don't know, Gemini could have a thing for beards, but more than anything, it would be somebody who is extremely stable, extremely generous, good with money, and somebody who has talents and skills that they keep developing and building and growing with and from. We have got an Eight of Swords in the reverse. Definitely somebody that is not stuck on exes, not stuck on grudges, not stuck on past things, not stuck in a time frame of their life. Like, this isn't somebody clinging to their youth. This is somebody who's like forging ahead, wanting to become a king and emperor and everything, above and beyond that. I could see that Gemini is definitely somebody who's like, I don't want to deal with people that are trapped in this rigid mindset or trapped in a past like glory day or still sad over an ex or still, living in an era that's already gone. So Scorpio is all about a progressive type of partnership, it says, with a 10 of Pentacles and a 9 of Pentacles as well. We definitely see, sorry, did I just say Scorpio? Sorry, Gemini. It looks like Gemini is all about someone who would be possibly, I'm going to say well off, but I don't mean they have to be loaded with tons of cash and that's all Gemini's looking at is what's their bank statement look like. I don't mean it in that way. It does look like Gemini would want a character or a partnership rather that would be more, let's say, focused on maybe having a home, building a home, making a nice environment, making a nice space where they would have a comfort zone, where they would have, someone at home with them or that they would come home to each day. And it's like, this is what we're building. This is what we're doing. They also have to have somebody who's pretty self-confident. And I will say, we already said good with money. We see a lot of need for like stability here. In fact, overall, what we have is Gemini's ideal match for right now would be somebody that truly does have their life worked out. And that means in matters of abundance as well. It doesn't mean they can't have debt, and it doesn't mean that they have to have six-figure income. But if they're not leaning toward like adulting or trying to create something of their own, like maybe Gemini has a dream of like, I want to be a homeowner, and so I want to be dating someone, be connecting to someone, be building a life with a romantic partner who they have that same vision. Everything keeps telling me they want to like be home, or Gemini wants somebody who would move to their home, but it's like the bottom line is let's build stability. Everything here is earth, earth, earth with just one little tiny bit of air, but that's like their mind has to be in the present, not in the past. So everything else is about earth energy. So definitely really strong emphasis on Gemini wanting to connect with or being a best match right now for an earth sign. Okay, I want to ask this. What is it that's making Gemini particularly attractive right now? Actually, let me pause for just a second before we go there. Has Gemini met this person? When will they meet this person? Is this coming up? Hi, NH. Hi, Brian. Great to see you. We have a 3 of Swords and we have a 9 of Swords in the reverse. So it kind of looks like Gemini has recently like cut off from like I'll say a situation that couldn't grow anymore. We see that this tree's been cut down, and although it was sad, I feel like Gemini may have in the not too distant future, or it's not too distant past, Gemini, I can't talk tonight. Gemini may have like broken it off with somebody who they realized, I can't have any more growth. We don't want the same things. It could be, sorry guys, I have clip-ons. I don't have pierced ears, and sometimes my chubby earlobes kick my earrings off. Sorry, that's TMI, but that's what was going on. It sucked. It sucked that Gemini had to realize I can't keep building with a particular person, but I almost feel like Gemini has already spotted this possibly earth sign person. Doesn't matter if they're masculine or feminine. Here they come across as masculine energy time and again, but that might just be because Gemini wants somebody who is got drive. So in the spirit of the masculine, meaning the energy of the sun, somebody that is, projecting forward what they want in life and going out to go get it. And I'm thinking that if Gemini recently, like in the last 3 months or something, had to end a dating scenario or even a long-term relationship because it was like, we're not growing, we don't want the same things for a future. It almost seems like one of the things that allowed Gemini to like get over that heartbreak a little faster and relax their tension around this breakup was possibly that they've already spotted this King of Pentacles. They've already seen somebody who's like, that's more what I'm looking for. That's an example of what kind of partnership. And I'm not saying Gemini was like, let me break up with one person because I want them instead, let me trade up or something. Now, this really speaks of I couldn't grow in the relationship that I was in because we didn't want the same things. So that's over, but it's happening simultaneous to me seeing someone that I realize would be way better suited to me. So I think this is somebody Gemini has even already spotted. I don't think that this is necessarily they're already dating this possible earth sign, but it definitely looks like someone that they've already spotted and have like this idea that that's more what I'm looking for. That's more what I think would match me better. Okay, now let's ask, what is it that's making Gemini attractive right now? Hi, Wendy, great to see you. All right, we have got Knight of Wands sideways, the Temperance upright, the Five of Swords upright, and the Five of Cups upright. When I'm asking what's making Gemini attractive, on one hand, you notice that in a crazy world, Gemini is this place of calm. And they have mastered calm even in the face of crazy. And I'm almost thinking Gemini may be at the center of many bizarre things. This could be, how some days you're just like, I cannot believe this. I was driving down the road and I saw this person, like swerve in and out of traffic. And then I noticed that they were naked, and then they pulled over and they got out of their car and they ran around naked and they hopped back in and drove off. I don't know what the hell was going on. I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone, but I stayed calm, made sure there wasn't an accident. It could be bizarre sets of circumstances. And the reason I'm saying somebody runs around in the buff is just because that Knight of Wands does not have enough clothes on right now. Either Gemini sometimes is a magnet for odd things, arguments, fights, sorrows. I don't know if everybody brings their problems to Gemini's doorstep, and maybe they are like an absolute angel. Maybe Gemini works in a field where they are everyone's calm in the storm. Like I'm thinking, therapist, counselor, doctor, maybe spiritual guide, or maybe this is what I do. Even if I'm at the grocery store, invariably somebody has a meltdown and I balance their energy. It almost feels like Gemini has this very divine gift where they are the neutralizing agent. They are the baking soda to the acid. They calm other people's moments of strife and struggle. And yes, that's attractive. And that's, attractive because they always keep their calm. Maybe because Gemini, of course, is a sign that has a real gift for conversation. Maybe they're like a hostage negotiator. Maybe they are somebody who just knows how to talk people down, because this is madness. And I don't see this as Gemini. I don't see it as like Gemini is like, oh, I got such sexy one-liners. Gemini might, but they know when to apply it, when to handle it, and when to kind of use their their gift of a dirty mind sometimes to distract or to make a joke, or they know how to flirt, when to flirt, who not to flirt with, when to make a dirty joke just to lighten up the mood, when to, like find the right words to say. But all of this makes Gemini very appealing. But in particular, I don't know that very many people realize that Gemini has their own hurts, pains, and sorrows, because I do think that they manage those pretty well also. But I think mostly what I see is a grounding influence. Somebody who is not here to take from Gemini, so Gemini can't date any of these three, because that's who Gemini has to be the grounding force for. And all these people are in states of conflict, flux, and chaos. So they may all be attracted to Gemini, men and women alike, but Gemini can't date any of them. I'm sorry, in this story, I'm just going to be blunt. Geminis, now I understand why the person who's right for Gemini in this story would be that earth sign, that king. Somebody who doesn't need anything from Gemini other than, I want to build with you, but I'm not here to bring you my troubles, my dramas. I worked through my own stuff. You don't got to talk me down. You don't need to cheer me up. I'm already cheery. I can see that Gemini probably attracts a lot of people that need healing and calm, and they're all really attracted to Gemini. But I think Gemini knows better than to date in like the realm of the people that are drawn to them for Gemini's strength, instead of because they really resonate with Gemini's same energy. That's the way I would say that. What is Gemini's greatest strength? Voyager 2, hi, hon. 9 of Wands, resilience. Gemini's greatest strength is definitely resilience. 9 of Wands is the wounded warrior, more warrior than wound. This is somebody who, they dust it off and they go, yep, I've been through a few battles, and that's why I know how to handle myself. They have learned something from every experience in life that they had as a takeaway. Any perceived failure was never a failure in Gemini's eyes, because it got some grain of wisdom, some nugget of something valuable. And so it's all worth it. I wouldn't have traded any experience in my life, the good, the bad, or the ugly, because it all shaped me and it all made me more resilient. This is a very flexible frame of mind, kind of Gemini. All right, and then I do want to ask, this is kind of subjective. I'd like to know what challenges other people about Gemini. And, this could be, if other people are challenged by Gemini, that could be because of their own insecurity issues. So I'm not saying it's Gemini's fault or anything like that. I'm just curious. We have a 2 of Cups sideways. So in the matter of love, romantic partners may be challenged by Gemini. And it may be because I'm hearing that song by Arctic Monkeys, I Want to Be Yours. There could be people that want Gemini, and it's like, why won't you want me too? That could go back to what we saw with, the people in chaos and flux that are very attracted to Gemini, because we have an 8 of Swords and we have the Sun. Look, there is something so lovely about Gemini's energy that I do think people get stuck on Gemini. Those are the people that probably have the greatest challenge. Only in this case, it looks like they're challenged to let go of this idea that if I want Gemini, then Gemini has to be my divine counterpart too, because they make me happy. That might be a specific person, or this could be a repetitious theme in Gemini's life with exes that don't want to let go. But it's because you don't understand Gemini. We have to be meant to be, but it's because you make me happy. It's like they're forgetting that important component of, yes, but is Gemini, receiving the same amount of, support from you? I'm not trying to make this person feel bad or belittle them in any way. Or, also in the adult world, we have to accept not everybody's going to be attracted to each other. Sometimes it's going to be one-sided. And it does seem like individuals who have the greatest challenge with Gemini are those that are attracted, where Gemini is not reciprocating what they want from Gemini. So that brings us to another question, which is, what does an ex think of Gemini? Now, I've asked all these same questions for every single zodiac, so that's why I don't want to leave any of these questions out for Gemini, even though we're seeing a repetitious theme on this, right? What does an ex think of Gemini? 7 of Cups, Queen of Cups in the reverse. Wow. This person seems to, either they're trying to vilify Gemini or they're making themselves out to be the victim because they're really stuck with the Seven of Cups. Like, I don't understand. How come Gemini's keeping me at arm's length? How come I still want to hold on to them? This almost feels like there's an ex who still is friends with Gemini, but it feels a little frenemy-esque, or it feels like they want to keep reaching out. Like, don't you know I need something from you? They keep finding a way to stay hooked a little bit on Gemini because they're like thinking at some point we're going to be something more than just like that you still care about me, right? How come there's this boundary? How come I can't get into your world again, Gemini? Like, that's what this looks like. Don't you know I need something? So we do have a repeat message throughout all of this. It does seem like, for whatever reason, maybe because of Gemini's calm, but it seems like a lot of characters gravitate toward Gemini because they need something from Gemini. And then they confuse their desire and even entitlement that I'm supposed to get something from you because it makes me feel good. So give it. They confuse that with the idea of attraction and love and, like, hey, we're so good together because when I'm around you, you make me feel good. Like, that seems to be like a repetitious personality type. Okay, I want to end on a better note, though, which is, how do others see Gemini as a whole? Now, this is non-romantic, this final question. We're not looking at romance now. I'm just curious, how do others see Gemini? Three of Coins, easy to be around, easy to, make people feel grounded, supported, feel like part of a team. And with that Nine of Swords, maybe that's exactly when they lean toward Gemini. I get stressed, you make me calm. I'm freaking out, you make it seem like I can do anything. You make me feel like I'm not by myself. You make me feel like anything's possible. It's going to be all right. Maybe Gemini is like the eldest child and family who is like the caretaker, the peacemaker, the problem solver. Maybe this is a Gemini who grew up too fast, had to kind of be a parent, even to their own parents, but they seem to be the person that everyone turns to in life for some kind of like, make me feel good, make me feel like it's all gonna like work out. And Gemini always does. Gemini's really got their act together, is what it comes across as. And other people see Gemini that way, which again, very powerful character. Three of Swords. Somebody who knows Gemini well does know, and this could be that ex. This could be the person that Gemini did have to go through an ending with. And they may know that Gemini didn't cut them out carelessly. This is like, somebody knows that Gemini, if they do stop giving support to another person, it actually pains them to do so. Because I don't think Gemini just, says, whatever, peace out, I'm not getting enough, I'm gone. I just think Gemini is like really thoughtful, and they're slow to make decisions to say, I need to let this go because I have to go in this other direction. And it's like, I think other people know that Gemini is very sincere. They don't willy-nilly throw any kind of a connection away. But when they have to distance themselves, they can make the difficult choice to do it. But it doesn't mean they don't hurt over it, even if it's still the right choice. Pretty strong character. I mean, Gemini comes across as a very powerful character. But I love the fact that their match seems to be somebody as strong as them. All right, I'm going to leave this one here. So great to see you. Nicole, hi, honey. SLH, thank you. And Voyager 2, good to see you. Brian, thank you. You're in good company. Wendy, Ian, NH, thank you again. It's Sweet. Hi, sweetie. All right, you guys, I'll see you in the next one. Lots of love. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up.